Hello and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Winona and I'm playing someone a bit different today. A bit more chaotic. My wonderful god, Chaos, in all of his glory. And I'm with the amazing, the wonderful, the most talented.
Hello, I am 18 Nicho, and I will also be playing someone rather new. I will be playing the Mask, a trapped entity of very, very chaotic nature.
Indeed. And what happened to them? Say, give a little background on the mask and their little journey so far.
Well, they first appeared in something old, something gold, in which they were in the middle of a vault, and a group of adventurers from Egad was sent to retrieve it. Its chaotic nature was enough to drive two of the four members, well, enough to corrupt two of the four members and have them fight over the mask, with ultimately someone else being the one to grab it and put it on. They were then taken over by the being inside the mask.
But they eventually got the mask off and eventually was locked up safe and sound in somewhere in Egad. Which, try to say, joke's on you, try to lock something and get with a god trying to get in. They didn't expect this.
Yeah,
So,
so,
sorry, you about to say something?
no.
Oh, sorry, just making sure. Didn't want to cut over you.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. So, yeah, Egad wasn't prepared for a god to try to break into their cursed items. Like, they probably have their every once in a while thief that tries to think, oh, something's gonna be really valuable there. Let me try to steal it. Nope. But yeah, chaos is just like almost taking like an afternoon stroll as all the securities can do nothing as he uses a mirror to flick away a trap sensor. He just does he does the limbo underneath another. Is say he just he flies over other traps. He's just like, looks like some things don't change. Good to see that the tunes here are still very, very primitive in their trap designs. But at the same time entertaining. Look at this little rope trap. Oh, adorable. I love it. As he eventually gets to where the mask is, he's like, ah, let's see, how should I? He just picks up like it's probably covered in a glass or something. He just picks up the glass and just throws it away somewhere, and there's like cat scream. I'll be taking this. And he just grabs the mask, and just poofs away.
Yes. The mask in question is what appears to be an old, like, smiling theater mask made out of faded gold. It's like gold that's basically just been, dug up.
Yeah, yeah.
So like none of the gleam, none of the shine.
Which
So
which will do no good to Chaos. He doesn't want to have a dirty member of hopefully his own rank soon, as he teleports himself back home, and he goes over to the kitchen sink, like, let's see if I can put some elbow grease and clean this up. as he gets out a what looks a bit like to be elbow made out of grease as it just starts washing it in the sink. And when he pulls the mask back up, like there's suds everywhere. Like the room gets all bubbly and everything. It's multicolored bubbles. It's and they pop into and like do different noises. There's a fart sound in one of them. There's a car screeching in another. There's a there's a honking clown for another one that pops until he raises up the mask, and now it's pretty much back to new. It looks very shiny and gleaming.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, this thing has to have a host. Let's see. As he takes out a long list. Let's see which one would be like Gary, Nigel, Stephanie, Bill. No, no, no. None of those will do. He's been always good and very respectable, but I don't think he'd be willing to have a mask on him for the foreseeable future for right now. Let's see. Ah, Steve. Yes, Steve's my guy. As he rips up the scroll, and then smoke goes everywhere, and there's this looks to be Toon Skeleton Man standing around. I was like, "Hello, Steve." He's like, and Steve is like, oh, "Great and powerful Discord. What is your will, my master?" "Well, I have a very special request for you. See," as he holds up the mask, "this mask needs a host. And to breathe new life into the world. I know that, say, you've been a long standing follower of mine until your dear death. Which, how was that? I mean, I was locked up so long. I'm glad you're all so well. It seems like everyone turned into toon skeletons." And Steve nods. "Oh yeah, it was an interesting transformation, but everyone's living happily on the island, as you know. We're all back to work. We're hoping to spread around some news here, but I heard like skeletons are not always welcomed in Inkwell. I mean, they were recently. Kind of. Halloween Town's always good. I mean, it was the spooky season, but now it's the festive season, so we're gonna have to work around that. But getting off track. You said there's a mask? Yes, there's a mask. This one right here that a body. Needs a body, and I think you're the perfect one to do it." And Steve is just like anime, like literally eyes. He's like, "Really?" And Chaos nods. "Yes, really. This will be probably for the foreseeable future and/or until the end of time." And Steve's like, "I'm all fine for it. Hand me the mask." And Chaos just claps his hands. He's like, "Oh, wonderful! I knew you say yes." As Steve puts on the mask.
The first thing that happens to Steve is kind of like a golden glittery ink begins to slowly drip from the mask covering his body as first is his head begins to shift a bit to a more somewhat fleshy, so goes from just a skeleton wearing a golden mask to a golden head. The rest of the body doesn't seem to change, but it is now. Oh, no. He is now a rubber hose skeleton, as a voice that is not Steve begins to go, "Finally! God, those fools were so dull."
As
Suppose I should think, oh my, what am I wearing?
you're wearing my traditional follower robes, and I thought the head looks fine, but the body is you're basically bare bones. This won't do. This won't do at all. As he then claps his hands, as butterflies start to surround him, and he's basically after the butterflies like fly around him, he basically transforms. Basically gets like like whatever kind of humanoid or othernoid body that this guy wants, along with an outfit of his choosing.
Listen, what surprisingly is he's still a skeleton, but the bones from like the first vertebrae down appear to be made out of jade.
Mm-hmm.
So like, he just appears to be a completely a, s- a skeleton made out of gems.
Yeah, and he could change that if he want. He doesn't want to be a skeleton, but continue on.
He's gonna stay as he's gonna stay as this for the time being, as he just sort of shows like much better. And that always a shame to be underdressed.
I know, it's very embarrassing. I'm so sorry for the weird transition. But Steve was very willing to be a host.
And at least I don't have to, try and escape some meddling adventurers this time around.
Yes, they can be a pain sometimes, but also very entertaining. But
Hmm.
where are my manners? Say, I welcome you to my humble abode. As he looks sort of like a cottage, but there's obviously like very chaotic elements. There's tables, there's furniture on the ceiling. There are floating paintings everywhere. There are plants like changing color. It's just like it's very chaotic, but also kind of like a regular like little cottage home.
I will say every time the camera pans off of Steve, when it comes back on, he's a different art style.
Nice.
So he goes from rubber hose, camera pans around the cottage. He's now Frank and Ollie.
I do love how
Uh,
you say in chaos does lead up. I do love how you change design as the camera pans. Very interesting. You're already getting high marks, and I'm the god of Discord.
yeah, well, change is always the variety of life, as they say.
Indeed,
I
it
think they
is.
say. Yeah, it's what they say.
It is indeed what they say, or at least I'm pretty sure what they say. It's been a while for me.
I will say, noticeably, he does not ever become a Hausen.
Interesting.
Like so every other, like he becomes every other type of tune, but he never becomes a Hausen.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yep. So I don't suppose you've done this out of the goodness of your heart, or is it a case that you want someone of my expertise?
Yes, I do need some of your expertise. Because you are like me. You haven't been around Inkwell in a very long time. And despite it being naturally chaotic, it's not chaotic enough. It's like I've been traveling around this continent and oh my gosh, it's so darn boring. He just like squashes like stretches his face as he just like hands run down his face.
Mm, yeah, that just doesn't seem to be enough plot going on at the moment. Like, it pops up in bits and pieces, but there's no ongoing. Well, there's the one currently going up near the well, but that's less chaotic and more, dark and grimy.
Yes, there
And
honestly have been a lot of dark and grimy parts and not a lot of chaotic plots. to be and for my liking.
Mm.
Hence the reason
Yeah.
why you are here. As he does a flick of the hand and the room spins around to a office like setting. I am in need of your services.
All right. I suppose the correct thing to do is write up contract. As he from out of the ribcage, he pulls out like one of the hats, like the clerk hats, and then like one of those tax tax things of just number, pull the lever, piece of paper comes out on top.
Indeed, a sort of say a sort of contract is to be to order. However, not quite yet. As he takes the paper and rolls it up, and it poofs. I first want to see what you can do.
Ah,
I am the god of chaos, discord, trickery, anarchy, madness, and all other things. You may say you may not have heard of me since it has been a couple of millennia, but I go by many names. I say I
what millennium are you from? Because I'm personally from the fourth the was it fourth or no, it was the third millennium that I was from.
mm, maybe
Hmm.
say I was by that time making sure that I wasn't going to be erased. I'm actually from the first. I saw the
Ah,
I saw the
mm,
first erasure. Honestly, I didn't think that would go so long, to be honest.
mm. Yeah, well, yeah, when I heard the third erasure was coming along myself, I decided to, well, do something rather similar. It's like sealing myself in a artifact of some device and hiding in those vaults. Like you would honestly clearing out that vault. Whew, it's like there was so much junk in there, like scrolls of wishes, stuffs that could cure, and oh my, just so much dull and boring. I just threw it all outside.
Honestly, that's the best thing to do sometimes. You just need to throw it outside to the wolves and they can have their pick of the boring stuff. Honestly, my island when I was sealed was quite in a mess. None of my magic lasted throughout the millennium. I was somewhat disappointed. Well, not all of it. Say apparently the skeleton, say my followers made it through. A and B, they were also turned into skeletons, toon skeletons. But I honestly glad there was people when I was back. Honestly, the cleanup was half the reason why I haven't been active in Inkwell lately. I mean, I had to be held it to a sort of standard as a god, and to have my
Mm,
own home just be littered with not chaos. Ugh, I had to say I had to rectify that immediately.
yeah, it's honestly, we really need to do something about the erasure. Uh,
According
I,
to what I've read, I've been actually been trying to also keep up on some of the history as he takes out like stacks of books. He's just like he like keeps pulling one out, and they're like the titles of the books are like the titles of the games and FPSs of on the draft house. Ah, say there it is. And he pulls out a a, a film reel. I actually have been also recently transforming my say little histories into reels. Retrospect had the right idea. Say the silver screen from what I've seen as the film reel says the silver screen. This story says there should be no more erasures ever. Part to do with a lot of stuff. Honestly, it's long.
mm,
I say, despite there being some funny bits, it's very long. But I'm definitely willing to give you a copy if you want to catch up on it. As
Is that the one where someone was turned into a car then butchered for parts?
I yes, I say it was the one. Yes,
Ah, yeah, I remember. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
yes. I say I've been trying to catch up on everything, trying to get the main summary of all the plots. But as you see, as the camera pans out and there's like the whole room is filled with libraries. It's up to their necks and books.
Mm.
There's a lot to go through.
Yeah, it's like a lot of good stories, but then you have all of the angst and drama. It's just like I don't want to hear about that, or like how, a certain pink poodle has nightmares of, of some reason, or like how, a little cat child was wished off to another, world. I
Oh
want the
yes, and don't forget about
chaos.
exactly. And don't forget about the dead parents and the family drama. So it's just ugh. I understand that, darling.
Oh, first for the fit, that was a good, that was very, that's one of my favorites. As he just proceeded to pull out a can of heavily shaking, like, of soda, like, the can is shaking in his hand as
Mm-hmm.
he's just gonna crack it open, and if Discord's not gonna stop him, I'm just gonna roll.
Yeah, he's not
What's
gonna
the
stop.
effect?
He's not gonna stop him.
Okay, well, let me pull up the document, 'cause it's been ages since I've had to pull it up. And I wrote my first. uh, So wait. Nah, fuck. Fuck. Where is it?
Ugh, gotta hate when you can't find the documents.
There we go. Okay, fucking finally. So I rolled a 53, and so you watch as some sort of magical effect seems to take over Steve.
Mhm.
At the moment, nothing seems to have happened.
Mhm.
So, all right then. So what do you want? What's the trial? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to turn an island upside down, volcano inside out, prank call EGAD? What do you want me to do?
Show. I think that's up to. I think that's up to you, good sir. Do your absolute chaoticness. Say, do your best and worst. Say, impress me. As somehow there's a chair that is say appears about behind Discord, and he just leans back with that sort of like hands together, like, oh yes, I am watching. Impress me. He with a giant smile.
All right then. First things first, as he just, as Chaos just reaches up and grabs the top of the screen, and then just grabs the bottom, quickly just slams the two together and shuts it back, and all of the books and all that are just gone. As this is just complete scene change. Yes, well, first things first, I'm gonna deal with those. I want to get my revenge on those pesky adventurers in the most cruel and evil way I know. As he pulls out a phone from the ribcage, like only the wire and the actual hand bit, and he just goes, "Hello, pizzas. I would like to order 100 pizzas for EGAD Treehouse." As he just begins listing off a bunch of different ingredients, and it's like, ah, yes, I want a dessert pizza with pineapple and sardines, and then vegetables covered in like the disgusting combinations ever.
Yes, Chaos very much approves of this.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, and I'll take and a single slice of garlic bread. And the payment that will be just proceeds to reach off screen, come back with someone's card, and he just proceeds to list off the numbers.
Nice,
He goes-
nice.
And he goes, "Now then, I suppose we should see what happens." As just pulls down one of those port views from a submarine
Mm-hmm.
and looks through it, and the other end is just outside Egad Treehouse.
Yeah, Chaos has like his little those little monocle things that those horse racers use, like they're on a stick as he watches, he's also looking at the porch of Egad.
As after a few minutes, just the massive pile of pizza arrives, and because it's your character, let's say Mad Lad
Yeah.
is the one to find them.
Yeah, Mad Lad. He just walks. He opens the door just to see a sea of pizzas, and he is like, "Huh? I don't think Ollie said there was going to be a party here." As he opens up a box of pizza, and he just like, ugh! Who puts pineapple on pizza? Is that sardines? I, what madness is this? As he continues to look, he just tosses it away. He continues to look for a normal pizza, which I'm pretty sure there is no normal pizza in this whole in this whole thing.
There is one that looks like, say, a normal pepperoni pizza, but underneath all of the cheese is perfectly covered instead of tomato sauce. It's just it's just soy sauce.
Yeah, the moment Mad Lad sees that pizza, it's like, oh, good, a normal pizza. He takes a bite. Ah! And Chaos chuckles. Oh, this is great. I'm very much enjoying this.
And that's only the beginning.
Oh,
But
please go
now then,
on.
and that is only we've done our entertainment for here. Honestly, if we want to do more, we require more people.
You have your go as Chaos flicks his hand. There's like a holographic like map of Inkwell, which the different sort of like countries of the map sort of just light up in different colors, sort of just like choose your adventure.
Let's take a look, see, and he just opens a door and begins walking through, and it's just the room panning of they're just the pair are walking through like they're in a room in one location, walk through a door, and then they're somewhere else, and
Mhm.
keep doing this. And he's like, let's take a look at the locations. We could just no, I don't want to do the Feywild. They're chaotic. They have too many rules.
Also, sometimes a bunch of pricks because of those rules. I agree.
Mm,
Which is sort of sad in a way, you know?
just like he's going from a thing in the Feywild to a room in Sanctuary to like a, a random street in Toontown. Like, let's see. I'm on this. Oh, I'm getting anxiety. Performance anxiety. What can I do now? I've done my revenge. I don't think that child will ever recover from this.
Most likely not.
Hmm. And I could do something over the top, but then it's like, then where am I going to go from there?
Chaos not. These will be the questions you'll be asking yourself if you're working for me.
Hmm. Hmm. I could bring a magic store. As he's just going to look at the can he's holding, he's just like, hmm, and this will be fun. As he currently just stops where he is, and he's just like in a small town, kind of in the middle of like a small city somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he just puts the can down and then kicks it as the liquid in it just flows out and then begins to quickly evaporate more as if just more and more liquid coming out as a cloud begins forming above the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that should be efficiently chaotic enough. As you just hear in the um you just hear in the background people starting to scream and panic as all of their magic just starts going haywire and chaotic.
Wild magic everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes.
Like
Sorry, you go.
like you see a few some unicorns run around. Like some people are just you see an old man just running around in the pose of a dinosaur going "Rah!"
Ah, yes. Wild magic. Got to love it. As Chaos, like, all the time, Chaos has been sitting in that nice, comfy seat with his little tiny binoculars watching all this.
I will say that when Steve has been walking, each time he started walking, it's been in a different way. Like at one point, like the first time he started walking, his body just shrunk down, so it's just the skull,
Mm-hmm.
two hands, and his feet. Next one, he's doing cartwheels. It's just he is silly walking.
Yes. And Chaos is making good notes of that. And he's like, he likes this guy, and like, just the way he's now that he's just walking, he's just like, yes. this is the chaos that I need. Please go on. I want to see more.
There might go to Opportunity Labs as he just walks up to a door and it's just out of order. It's like, right, we don't have that person here at the moment. Hmm.
Ugh, such a tragedy. But it
Yes.
can't be helped at times.
We could go to Fleischerberg. There's not much to do there.
Well, let's give them something to do then. As Chaos claps his hands and they're in the middle of Fleichenberg.
Hmm. Let's see here. As he's just gonna pull out a balloon and just quickly inflate it, or one of those long balloon animal balloons, and
Mm-hmm.
just twisting, twisting, twisting. Eventually comes to it eventually ends up with a balloon version of him, which he then places down, and then the two begin making more and more till there's a parade of him as they begin marching through town. Just a full-on parade at whatever time of night it is.
Yes.
Mm. So, what plans do you have?
My plans. As of right now, basically cleaning up this old continent. Like we've both have noticed, it's quite dull and very dreary. My first plan of action on my long list of things to do, as he gets out a list that just falls down to the ground and keeps going on and on and on, just past the horizon. Basically, start cleaning up the place. Start adding,
Mm,
putting back the chaos where it needs to be. That's and honestly, that's a big thing to do. As like it's a it's in giant text where it's almost like each like page is a letter in itself. And it just makes one giant. It eventually just makes one giant billboard.
I suppose what we truly need is that one domino. Like, we just need something to set it off.
Exactly. Which I'm hoping
Just, you go first.
is a which is what I'm hoping to find. And I think you may be able to help me with that.
Let's see. So, what? What could our end goal? Well, our end goal would be complete and utter chaos all across Inkwell. But
Indeed.
not anarchy. There's a fine line between chaos and anarchy.
I am known as the necessary evil at times. Sometimes chaos does bring anarchy, but
Mm,
not always.
yes, it's like I want a city to be chaotic, not for ruffians to be running around being, self-proclaimed rulers as the town just, really heads to the overtaken by the dogs. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, I'm very much getting what you're saying. just bringing Big Inkwell back to its roots, to its toonish, chaotic, laughable roots.
At this point, the pair have ended up at the well of creation,
Mm-hmm.
as just Steve is just floating in like one of those inflatable rings, like in the actual well,
Yeah.
like complete with, sunglasses, a drink with an umbrella, and it's like, now then, let's see here.
Yeah, and Chaos is like sitting in one of those pool, one of those pool floaties too, but it's like shaped like a chair. It has like a very large drink to has a very large drink with like the crazy straw that goes
Mm,
everywhere across the screen.
yeah, well, hmm. Let's see. Let me just take a look at the script as just puts the glass floating in midair. Like he's resting it on the line of something else, even though that thing is nowhere isn't isn't actually any isn't close to him, just from the perspective.
Mhm.
As he just pulls out scripts like, ah yeah, so let's see. Discord steals the mask takes over Steve, the Steve does something chaotic. Eh, nothing, nothing, nothing. Tacos? Hmm.
Yes, it is it's Taco Tuesday somewhere. So I time traveled a little bit to get the tacos as he pulls out a tray of tacos.
Ah, wonderful. As he just bites into one with just a stick of dynamite um sticking out of it.
Mhm.
Just, chucks it in his mouth. Explosion goes, oh, gotta love it when they have a nice kick to it.
I like the extremely spicy ones myself as he says that fire is coming out of his mouth.
Mm. Alright then. Hmm. What? I suppose the correct thing to do would be start up a game. You know, there's a town I know of that I totally didn't just create for this. That he just pulls out a map and just right here, just points to a random spot. This town is I don't care what it's called. It's called the village. So the village here, its entire um creation is responsible for one book, a very holy artifact. As I'm just going to basically, as he just reaches down to a model of it, like lifts the roof off a building,
Mhm.
pulls out a tiny book, and goes, "I'm just gonna give it to this fellow over here." As he gives it to a model like on the outskirts of town, like very obvious that
Mhm.
this person has been kicked out of town.
Yeah.
Hey, that should start a game or two.
Oh yes, it definitely will. As Chaos has his little binoculars back and watching this. That would be perfect.
As they're talking, a few of the buildings basically seem to lose their color, then just become line art, and then they just become basically just sketches as the figure with the book just runs off somewhere. That will be a chaotic adventure for some players to enjoy.
Indeed.
Now, as I imagine at this point, they're basically just walking around like
Mhm.
on a map of Inkwell with like model-sized everything.
Yes.
Let's see, we've done the thing for the ink. Let's see, we've done something for the treehouse. We've done something for Fleischerberg. Something for the village. I don't feel like moving an island today. That's
I agree. Island's a little bit too much probably right now. Though I think we've definitely set off a good set of events. I gotta say. I say applauds to you and like a crowd of chaoses appear behind him just giving him a round of applause, like whistling, throwing flowers at say at the mask.
he's just like, oh, thank you, as he just pulls out a trophy, stands at a podium. Oh, I would like to thank my ma for always believing in me, for never telling, for never telling me to never give up on my dream, and for my um, for Sparky, my old dog, as he just goes full hillbilly.
Oh yeah. And Chaos as a ham himself is loving this. And I think
Yeah,
you've definitely got the job. As he pulls out a small contract.
and the master's gonna take it. And it's like, all right then, let's see. Just opens it. Hmm. Let's see. Vacation days, sick days, time off. 9 to 5. That's not too bad.
Off all
Oh, free
weekend.
dental.
Oh yes, we have. Let's say we have all the insurances. We're very. Let's say you could tell. Let's say we are very inclusive on everything. We like. I like to take care of my employees.
Mm. All right then. As he's just going to reach off screen, pluck a feather. You hear like a very loud bird, just cry out. He just pulls back, basically a feather that is large.
For some
Like
reason,
actually,
I thought of Eeny, Miny, and Mo.
as he just dips the massive feather in ink and then just do 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 do. I'm pretty sure that the bird in question, edition, is a rock,
Nice.
and that. Let's see, how big is this?
Rocks are
Oh,
giant.
they're gigantum.
Yeah,
So
they're
yeah, he just has a literal a feather that is the large category.
yes, indeed.
Once he's done, he just puts it behind where an ear would be.
Mhm.
Right then, I suppose. Contract signed. You've seen what I can do.
Yes. I think this is going to be a wonderful partnership as he reaches out a hand to shake.
Steve will take it.
And Chaos
And
shakes it. And he's like, "But what would you want me to call you? This is a new start, a new beginning. You're free to choose whatever name you wish. I chose the name Chaos for myself for this iteration."
let's see. Last time was Randall. Randall didn't do me well. It's an unlucky name. I'm thinking Edwardo. Dun dun dun.
Eduardo is a pretty good one, I agree.
No, no, no. Eduardo. Dun dun dun.
Ooh, yes, Eduardo! Dun dun dun!
Yes, thank you very much. As yes, it's a family name. As he pulls out a driver's license, and it's written as Eduardo. Dun dun dun.
Love it. Well, Eduardo, dun dun dun!
I would like to, but that's not actually music. That was him making the noise with
No,
his
no, I know,
mouth.
I got the joke. but I feel like I had to also say the music, you know?
Yeah.
Say, if you have any trouble or any business, do not be afraid to call me. As he flicks his hand and a golden business card appears and he hands it to him. You should be protected by my magic, but if anything comes awry, don't be afraid to call me so I can straighten things out. Because I do take
Yeah.
care of my employees, and I take the health of my employees very seriously. And like the screen goes dark and his eyes glow red for a second before he's like, "But you have." And then like it pans out, and he's like very happy. He's like, "But you have fun." Say, "Go make chaos."
And he just is now just Eduardo dun 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 walks over to a door with like a travel sack. Is like, look, Ma, I want to do my dream. I want to make you proud. I won't come back until I've done it. Okay?
And chaos
As he
leans
just
in, and chaos leans in the bed as he's dressed as a woman in his mind. It's like, "You do, honey. I'm so proud of you."
as you gives him a kale, gives him a hug, kiss on the cheek, and just walks out the door, just with the travel sack, an old hat on his head.
Yeah, the mother say he's waving a little hanky as he's wiping his tears.
Just walks into the sunset.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a good place to end the FPS unless you have anything
Yeah.
else.
No, I was gonna say that's a great place to end.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Yep. Thank you all for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
Yes, and don't say I hope you all have a good time. Though, have a good evening, good morning, good night. Say bye bye.
Bye.